Hi. If you've ever wondered, how do you become an entrepreneur with no money? Well, there's actually quite a few different ways you can do that. And we're going to talk through some of those today. As entrepreneurs and business owners, we know that if we have a clear plan, anything becomes possible. And if you can have a clear plan, a clear process to create that plan, and a way to create clarity with your partner or spouse, you can drive to amazing heights. So when you start looking at becoming an entrepreneur, people are like, well, man, I need to get money. I need to go talk to venture capital. I need to go talk to private equity. I need an angel fund. The reality is, and I started my first of 15 companies when I was 19. I have built them, bought them, sold them, invested in them, wrecked them, all sorts of things. And candidly, when I'm talking with a young entrepreneur, if they even know the words tranche or A round or venture capital, a lot of times I won't invest with them for the very simple reason that at that point they're investing most of their time and energy trying to generate money. They're chasing the money, keeping the money happy, rather than actually building their product or service. So for me, the most critical thing when you're starting a business is A, make sure that it's in alignment with who you are and what an amazing life looks like. And we have other videos on this channel that help you find that. But the second piece then is, as you go forward, is once you've defined, this is what's going to make me happy is if I live a holistic life and this is what my amazing life looks like. B, I love doing this and I'm really good at this. Now, how this comes to fruition or how it manifests can be different. But then the third thing is going to be, okay, once you decide this is what I want to do, well, let's go out and start vetting it first. Now remember, none of this is costing you any money to start with. But as you vet, I have this idea to do this or this. Fair enough. If you go, you can actually go and talk to people who are potential clients, number one. Number two, who's already doing it. Oh, you want me to talk to my competition? Well, sometimes it's actually the best thing you can do. So number one is who's already doing it, potential competition, or people who are already doing it, people who could potentially use the service, and then see if there's anybody else out there that's doing it in a different way already. Now, this is where, if you think about it, the more you can listen, the more you can really embrace a spirit of curiosity, the better things are going to be for you. Don't go in being the smartest person in the room. Remember, the good Lord gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use that accordingly. If you can listen twice as much as speak, ask questions. Be really curious. Try and understand what is the true problem that you're solving for someone. And how are they currently solving it? Where are they stumbling? And where can you make some adjustments? So once you start to do that, then you have a much better idea of what your ideal product could be. And then I'm going to suggest that you bring it back and you invest the time and energy to create a proof of concept, but maybe it's a half-baked proof of concept. If you can get it 60-70% of the way there, that this is what I'm planning on doing and this is how I'm going to do it, and then let the people you talk with go back and talk to them again and say, hey, I heard you, and you said that this is your issue, this is your challenge, this is how we're solving it, and I have this, and how would you like to see the last 10 to 20% of that come together? Well, what happens when you do that is, A, you're getting them to take a perceived ownership in this. Because if you take it to them and say, this is 100% how it should be, well, I've seen that over and over and over and over, where people go with the best of intention, and most entrepreneurs get wrapped around the axle, man. They'll spend 80-90% of their energy on that last 10 to 20% of the project. Versus if they take it conceptually and go to the people who are going to use it and say, if I can deliver this in these ways, what tweaks would you like to see so that it really solved your problem? What you're doing there also is that you're potentially selling them. And what I mean by that is they say, well, geez, kid, you can do this. You can take care of this and this and this. Yeah, I'd love to buy that. Okay, great. How much is that worth to you? Well, geez, you solved that problem. It's worth this much to me. Wonderful. Okay, I tell you what, how about you give me some money up front? I'll get this taken care of and I'll get it to you. And I'll do it at a discounted rate. What you're doing there then is you're coming up with a strategic partner who's actually funding your business to get it built. And in exchange, you're having them do your research for you. They're also helping you to fund it, but they're also going to verify and manage your POC, your proof of concept, and allow you to make some tweaks and adjustments as that goes down the road. So that's one area where without any money, without any funding, you've gone through, we've defined, hey, this is what my lifestyle that I really want looks like. This is what I'm great at. This is an idea that I think is there, and I've gone and started to talk to some people who value it. When you can find that, great. Now, the other side of this is, maybe nobody wanted it. Okay. You just dodged a bullet versus going all in, building a product that nobody really wanted or needed. By doing this, maybe you can come back and say, okay, well, what do you need? But you're also creating those relationships. So often people think, oh, this is my big shot. I've got to do this. This is what it is. It's going to be amazing. And it falls flat. I proof positive of that. I don't know how many times that's happened. But what it does do is that it leads to something different, that leads to something different, that leads to something different. That's like, oh my goodness, and this is what everybody needs. So it's through that process that you're getting paid to learn how to do that. Now, another area, and this happens a lot with contractors or people who are looking out, particularly for the solopreneur world. This is one of my books. It goes through and talks about all this. And you're welcome to learn more at our website at Solopreneur, theaspiringsolopreneur.com. Forgot my website, that's terrible. Aspiringsolopreneur.com, and we'd be more than happy if you have questions, let us know, and we'll see what we can do to help you with it. But the second area you can go is go to existing competition. People are like, man, are you crazy? You want me to go to my competition? Yeah, actually I do. Because I can't tell you how often that when you go to somebody who's already doing what you're doing, maybe you want to do accounting or bookkeeping or graphic design or who knows what, any of the gazillion service industries that are out there, maybe it's social media management, things like that. Go and talk to them and say, hey, here's what I'm looking to do. Do you have any needs for this? And sometimes they'll say, no, we're good. Great, move on. Go to the next one. But sometimes people are like, yeah, you know what, man, we are drowning right now. And if you wouldn't mind being a stopgap for us, we'd love to contract with you to help cover some of these things. Great, I'm gonna need some help with this and this. Great, we can help you with that. We'll pay you in advance sometimes. And again, I can't tell you how often I've seen this. It works, it really does. Now in other cases, maybe you're going and you do social media management. And you've got the company and they only work with, we only work with companies that are doing 20 million a year. But we get people calling us all the time that do $200,000 and $300,000. And we would love to be able to refer somebody for $1,000 a month somewhere. Great. Now you just have a referral source that helps them. If you get somebody that's too big for you, you start drowning, fair enough, you've got a referral source back in the same way. But again, this isn't taking any money. This is about old-fashioned shoe leather, so to speak, Zoom leather, getting out there, getting in front of people and talking to them, but being curious, how are you solving this? This is what I'm approaching. These are the ways I'm looking at it. But it's through this type of thinking that suddenly you're able to go out and build businesses. And I've known people literally to build 7- and 8-figure businesses with this process. It's crazy, but with no money, and they fund it all up front. So if you start thinking what is possible with those things, that can help. Now, another way is sometimes you can go out and maybe you just go out and you go cold and you find somebody who really needs your product or service. And within that, you can say, hey, I'm willing to do this and this, but I need this upfront retainer. Or in some cases, if it's a larger organization or larger entity, they may have budget that they have to spend before the end of the year. And you say, look, I'll give you a discount for this up front for these different areas. But whatever it is, in each one of these cases, we're not dipping into the 401k, we're not maxing out the credit cards, we're not diving into those places. And sometimes those make logical sense. But if you're choosing to do that, you've got to make sure that it is a clear no-brainer. So The last thing is, if you think about it, if you can go and get some of these things done contractually, that's when you can go to traditional banking. Now, as I used to do real estate development, commercial real estate development in some places, still have active properties in a handful of states. But there used to be a way that you could go in and you could go and take control of a piece of property. So what I mean by that is you make a contract that says, I have the right to buy this property at this price over the next 90 days. And you may put additional clauses in there that says I can give you more money and I can have this last for this and do different types of entitlements and things, whatever it may be. But long story short is that you control that piece of property, and you may put down 10 grand. That allows you to control $2 million worth of property for 90 days. Now, if you have that property, you have that contract, and in that contract it says, for me or assigned. Kris Kluver buys it or assigned, meaning I'm going to put it in one of my companies. Or maybe I want to sell a contract. Now, if on the flip side, I can go to a large commercial retailer, a Walmart, a Home Depot, a Target, whoever, and I know that they're looking for this type of property, and I know that they're willing to pay this, fair enough, and there's a lot of people who've done this. You take that contract and you get a contract that says, we like this property, it has these things on it, we this and this and this, and I'm doing this in an abbreviated version. But basically, it would allow you then, that says, yes, we will buy this property at this price. So you're buying the property for $1 a square foot, and this piece of paper says you're selling the property for $1.75 per square foot. If you have these two contracts, you then can go to the bank and say, hey, Mr. Banker, will you loan me $1 million to buy this property for 15 minutes so I can sell it to this person and make $1 million? I have seen this over and over and over, but conceptually the same idea rides true. If you have a commercial contract that says, yes, we will buy this contract or service at this rate over this period, say we give it a 12-month agreement, great. Then you take that and say, look, I can supply this service, Mr. and Miss Banker, I need this over this time period. Again, it's a way that you've gone in with zero money. So, long story short is it really comes down to figuring out what are the creative ways that you can go out there, really embrace that spirit of curiosity, and look to solve that problem. But there are all sorts of ways, and it has never, ever been easier to start a business, especially a solopreneur or single gig worker business. So if you'd like to learn more, please feel free to reach out to us. And please, if you enjoyed this, subscribe, click like, and check out some of our other videos. We look forward to hearing from you. Keep smiling.